the job was Labor Day on 1974, and in a station called CKNR in Elliott Lake, Ontario. There was a couple of stations, and they owned a station in Sault Ste. Marie and Blind River in Elliott Lake. And our two stations, Blind River, Elliott Lake, were simulcast. We were on two different frequencies. Anyway, first day is Labor Day, so the only people in the building are the program director, who's, welcoming me and showing me how stuff works and telling me about this, that, and the other thing. And we're the only two people in the building. And he said to me, you're going to learn something tomorrow. I want you to know this today. I'm going to tell you something. And I'm thinking, oh, what is it? Like, who knew? He said, I got busted for drug possession this weekend. And, and he said, but it was a plant. I had no drugs at the time. If I did, I would have known about them. But he said the RCMP came and knocked on his door, said, we have reason to believe you have drugs in your car, opened the glove box, and there was some drugs. And he said, it was a plant. And you're going to meet the guy tomorrow who I know did it to me. And I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? And it was the sales manager who did it because he didn't like him. And it ended up, that's exactly what it was. And it became a pretty famous case in Canada because the guy's name, Don Primo was the program director's name, was proven not guilty, but it totally wasn't an innocent case. And it was written up in the Toronto Sun, and it was a big Canadian case at the time. But that was my first day in radio. That's what I was greeted with. It was told that, whatever.
Wow.
And he ended up, he said, that he told me that he said, I told the owner that it wasn't me, and I told the owner what actually happened, and the owner didn't believe him. The owner said, just fess up and do your time or whatever you have to do. I don't know what the penalty would have been. So Don didn't stay. He was at the radio station a couple months later, and he came to me and he said, I'm quitting today. I don't want to work. I don't want to work for the owner who doesn't believe that I was innocent. So he left. So the ops manager, who's down the road in Sault Ste. Marie, says to me, you're fresh, you're really into this, and you grew up in Toronto, so all big time radio. Would you be the program director? I've been there a couple of months in radio. And I said, yeah, I'd love to, as long as you help me.
Wow.
And he did, and he was very helpful.
Yeah.
And found the resources. So I learned a lot of stuff about behind the scenes that I never knew. I just wanted to be on the radio. So that was the first gig. But of course, you don't want to stay in a little town like that. You want to grow, and I wanted to go to CKLW. So it's like, okay, what's next? So,
hang on, hold that thought. I'm sure everybody else is. I'm going to be asking questions, probably interrupting here and there, because some things you just want to know. So, How did they find out that the guy wasn't guilty? Did he not have fingerprints on the bag?
What happened? The evening jock, I went in there to do, it was a weird shift because we were a CBC affiliate. So we had times we had to do CBC shows, for an hour at 1 p.m. or whatever. But we had a morning show, and we had a show. My air shift was 10 a.m. till 5 p.m., but it wasn't all 7 hours. They would cut away and do different things. But I was in the building for those 7 hours. But only for the first few months. So the evening guy knew about it because he was a friend with the sales manager, and he turned state's evidence. He finally went to the RCMP or whoever and said, you know what? I need to tell you this. I need to get this off my chest. And that's what happened.
Yeah. So did the sales manager? Did the sales manager go to jail?
He fled the scene, but this happened it never got to court. I was long gone before it even got to court. I would love to now, all these years. I mean, this is nearly 50 years ago.
God.
I go back and I want to find the case, and I want to find the articles written in the Toronto Sun and stuff. I don't know how to do that. I'll do that when I'm retired. That'll be my first project. But it was very, it was just so bizarre. You couldn't write that.